Melody 100.7 FM.
All right, a beautiful morning to you and yours. It is 2 minutes past 8 from the studios of Melody 100.7 FM. My name is Bolabad, and this is Melody Sunrise. It is the 19th day in the month of December. I was going to say September. In the month of December, and then we are, grateful to be alive. It's a great day to be alive, actually. And the Amatan really this morning was a lot. It was really a lot because I stepped out of my house and I was like, what's going on with this fog? Anyway, but it's just that Christmas is actually almost here, and kind of like excited about that. All right, I'll be here from now till 9:55. We'll be doing quite a lot together between now and 8:10. We check out the motivation quote and also the weather forecast for today. And once it is 8:10, we'll then go straight to the front pages of various Nigerian dailies this morning. Check out the headlines making the rounds. And once it is 8:30, Sports Crew will be in the studio to take us through the exciting world of sports. And 9 a.m. rather, I'll be back in the studios. We are straight into the People's Assembly to talk about this particular conversation. I started it on Wednesday. We're just going to continue the conversation today and see where it takes us. Talking about the back and forth between Dangote and the now former, but we'll get into that much later very very soon, okay, by 9 a.m. and I hope that you would be contributing as well once we get into the People's Assembly. Okay, so moving on from that one, then we would then check out Melody Surprise by 9:45, where I get to celebrate someone with and for you. And 9:55 we'll wrap up the show and call it a day and a week. Okay, so between now and then, great music will be coming your way as well, okay, and we'll be doing quite a lot together, like I said. All right, so let's kick off with the weather forecast for today. As it is 24 degrees Celsius right now, it's partly cloudy outside, so sort of feels kind of like chilly, but the temperature will keep rising to peak at 33 degrees Celsius later this afternoon, and by 6:32 the sun will set and temperature will start dropping drastically up onto 25 degrees Celsius later today. All right, so you have to expect sunny conditions around 10 a.m. As early as 10 a.m., the temperature will be at 28 degrees Celsius before it jumps to 30 degrees Celsius by 11 a.m. So it's going to be a hot day. No sign of rainfall. No. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. Just make sure that you're going out dressed light. Okay, do not wear overlays, and overlays is not the time. In fact, I think this is the time to start wearing probably like socks so you don't get your feet dusty and all of that. That is if you can. And if you cannot, protect yourself regardless. All right, now let's go and check out the motivation quote for today. And the motivation quote says, self-love has very little to do with how you feel about your outer self. It is about accepting all of you. I know that we've been talking about how you need to accept your flaws and everything for a while, but this one actually just goes to show that self-love it has to do with how you feel about yourself. Maybe you're big, you're trying to lose weight, or you're skinny, you love to add more curves and all of that. It doesn't have to really do up with that. All right, so it's about accepting all of you, with the fact that you're trying to lose weight or trying to add weight or trying to do this, trying to do that, with your outer self, your outer look and everything. You need to still accept yourself regardless. Now, the statement is actually popularized by Tyra Banks. She is, a very, very popular model and also TV host in America. And, the saying actually highlights a core truth that self-love isn't about superficial beauty, but deep, unconditional acceptance of your whole self flaws, strength, and all which builds inner resilience and allows for authentic growth rather than being tied to external validation or appearance. Now, let's look at the key aspects of self love beyond the outer self. First one is acceptance, embracing your imperfection and acknowledging your current reality as, as it is goes a very long way. Another one is the inner validation, because feeling good about who you are, independent of others' opinion or societal, beauty standards or societal expectations of you, actually goes a long way as well. Another one is the authentic engagement, being comfortable, yeah, being comfortable enough with yourself to connect genuinely with the world also goes a long way. And growth mindset is very, very important, because accepting yourself now, then taking steps to improve mentally, physically, and spiritually goes a very long way as well. So, in essence, it is about saying to yourself that I am enough exactly as I am. I am enough exactly as I am, learning to love myself unconditionally. You have to say these affirmations to yourself. And the last affirmation is feeling comfortable in your own skin, right? I am comfortable in my own skin. All right, so this internal foundation, actually built on acceptance, is what allows you to love and be loved by others fully. Guess what? Nobody can love you like you can love yourself. See, I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to put that out there. Nobody, nobody on earth, on planet Earth, can love you like you love yourself. It is not rocket science. It is what it is, okay? So just make sure that you accept yourself, because that is one step to showing that you truly do love yourself. Accept yourself, your flaws, your strength, everything that comes with being you, and then you are good to go. Do not forget that the quote says self-love isn't about is very no self-love has very little to do with how you feel about your outer self, but it is about accepting all of you. Accept yourself. All right. So basically, I'll be heading back to the music, and this one is to Baba when it was still Two-Face doing True Love. Stick around, keep it locked, don't move a muscle. 8:10. We go through the front pages of various Nigerian dailies. Stick around.
searching for the kind of possibility. Someone to truly love me for me. Someone to come and be my true love. True love, 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 yeah. True love, seen her make my head been there. True love, hey, true love, true love. I feel like fading away. Where's my true love? See, I'm looking for someone to set my soul free. Looking for someone to love me completely. Looking for someone to show me true love. And I'm searching for the kind of possibility. Someone to truly love me for me. Someone to show me be my true love. True love, that's my true love. True love, that's my true
All right, so Baba doing True Love, and we're back to it. It's 13 minutes past 8 a.m., and this is Melody Sunrise and Melody 100.7 FM. My name is Bolabad. It is time to go through the front pages of various Nigerian dailies this beautiful morning, and I have, per usual, the Nation newspaper in front of me. I have the Nigerian Tribune, I have the Guardian, Vanguard, and the Punch newspaper this very morning. So we begin from the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, checking out the first headline. And the first headline reads, NBA AGF, that is the kicker, no to death penalty for kidnapping. And that story can be found on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Court dismisses Malami's bail application. Story has a rider, ex-AGF legally detained. And that story can be found on page 3 of the Nation newspaper as well this morning. Nigerian Air Force officers leave Burkina Faso for Portugal. And that story is on page 25 of the Nation newspaper as well this morning. Alleged 2.2 billion naira fraud. That is the kicker of this headline. Court upholds Ngige's bill with conditions. And that story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. PDP failed me, says Fubara. Story has a rider. Governor speaks on defection to APC. Stories on the front page, continues on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. State on high security alert for Yuletide. And the story has a rider. Oshun moves to secure boundary with Kwara. Story begins on the front page as well, continues on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. The biggest headline on the front page, Tinubu to governors, that is the kicker, obey verdict on council autonomy. And that story has 2 riders attached to it. First one says, state police will strengthen our security, says president. And the second rider says, you want to roll out e-registration. Story is also on the front page, continues on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. To another headline, Army training schools for overhaul. And stories on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And the final headline on front page of the Nation newspaper reads, PDP faction dissolves 14 states excos. And that story is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper this very morning. Now let's move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the first headline reads, Ahmed Defense Finances welcomes probe of Children's Education Fund. And story can be found on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the next headline reads, Senate confirms 64 ambassadorial nominees. And stories on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. PDP caretaker committee dissolves 14 state excos, fixes January for congresses. And that story can be found on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning as well. The biggest headline on the front page of the Guardian, when pains of reforms, old scars hound new tax era promises. And stories on big story pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper this very morning. Fresh nationwide defections tilt 2027 balance as APC tightens grip. And stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Ex-Labour Minister Ngige gets bail in alleged 2.2 billion naira fraud charges. Story can be found on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Federal government rescinds decision, reopens 47 federal unity colleges. And that story can be found on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper as well this morning. Barkin Ladi attack death toll rises to 14. And stories on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. 6 ex-PDP governors attend as Tinubu hosts APC caucus in Aso Villa. Stories on page 7 as well of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Yusuf commends Tinubu Bichi over 47 billion naira Wuju Road in Kano. And stories on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper this very morning. Now moving on to the front page of Vanguard newspaper this morning. NSRA grows assets to 3 billion naira. And story has a writer attached to it, says builds Nigeria health, agriculture and infrastructure sectors. Story can be found on page 50 of Vanguard newspaper this very morning. The biggest headline on the front page says oil sector, and that is the kicker, far-reaching reforms coming, Aisan Mohammed vow. Story has a handful of riders attached to it, says Tinubu's NUPRC, NMDPRA CEO's nominee assure at Senate screening. And another writer says we will ensure investor confidence accelerates gas development, and that one is a statement credited to ISAN. Another writer says Nigeria losing enormous value due to manual processes and others. And the final writer reads there will be strict enforcement of contracts quality standards, says Mohammed. And all of that can be found on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper this very morning. Now moving on to another headline, tax laws, that is the kick of this headline, altering legislations through official gazette illegal, says lawyers. And that story has a writer, says reps constitute committee to probe alleged alteration. All of that can be found on page 51 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Governor Yusuf Lords Tinubu Bichi over 47 billion naira Wuju Road. And the story is on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Tinubu to governors, that is the kicker, obey Supreme Court judgment, let local governments get their allocations. And that story is on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Electoral Act, that is the kicker of this headline, reps back 2-year jail term, 5 million naira fine for vote buyers, sellers. And that story is on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. Uncertainty over NAF aircraft departure to Portugal after release in Burkina Faso. And that story is on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper as well this very morning. Now moving on to the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. And the first headline reads insecurity as the kicker. Tinubu pledges states police to United States European allies. And that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. World Bank to approve $500 million loan for Nigeria today. Stories on page 20 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Yield tide, that is the kicker of this headline. NSA alerts governors to beef up security. And stories on page 28 of the Punch newspaper this very morning. Now moving on from that to another headline, MTEF, that is the kicker. Reps Senate disagree over crude oil benchmark. And that story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Reps probe tax law tweaks. PDP demands suspension. Story has the writer attached to it. House raises 7-man ad hoc panel. President warns against sabotage and says tax law not anti-people. And that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper yesterday. Now moving on from that to another headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Senate confirms Fani Kayode or mockery 60 others as ambassadors. Stories on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. South African police shoot Nigerian man dead at traffic stop. Stories on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, rather sad one. And the final headline of the front page of the Punch newspaper reads, Court OK's Malami's further detention by EFCC. And that story can be found on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Finally, moving on to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. First headline reads Senate confirms Ibas Ajimobi Yakubu Fani Kayode Omokri 59 others as ambassadors, and that story is on page 4 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. Nigeria's 200 trillion cubic feet of gas can end darkness. Story statement is credited to ISAN, that is new NUPRC boss. Story has a writer attached to it, says as Senate screens Farouk Komolafe's replacements. Stories on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. The biggest headline on the front page of Nigerian Tribune: local governments must get their money, Tinubu tells governors. Story has about 3 riders attached to it, says there is no autonomy without funded mandate. Another writer says as APC showcases defected PDP governors at its 14th National Caucus meeting. Another rider, the final one, says we must create level playing field for new entrants, says Fabio. Stories on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune this very morning. To another headline, banditry. That is the kicker of this headline. Military operation underway at Oshunkwara boundary community, says Adeleke. And that story can be found on page 19 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. Court dismisses Malami bail application to remain in EFCC custody. Stories on page 13 of Nigerian Tribune as well this morning. I never really belonged to PDP, Fubara declares. Isn't it funny? Stories on page 20 of Nigerian Tribune this very morning. PDP crisis, that is the kicker of this headline. Turaki Wike's camp in another face-off over state congresses, excos. Story has a handful of riders, says Wike's group ratifies the solution of Lagos Bauchi or your Delta excos, 10 others. Another one says fixes state congresses for January 9, and the final rider says they are acting like dead horses, Turaki's camp says. And all of that can be found on page 4 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. Awujale's too, that is the last headline, and that is the kicker of this headline, says Wasiu Ayinde goes to court. Story is on page 3 of Nigerian Tribune this very morning. Alright, so heading back to the music, the time is 8:24. Do not forget that in 6 minutes time, that is by 8:30, the sports crew will be in the studio to take us through the exciting world of sport. In the meantime, this one is Kendrick Lamar doing I. Stick around, keep it locked.
I've been through a whole lot, trial tribulation, but I know God. Satan wanna put me in a bow tie. Pray that the holy water don't go dry, yeah. As I look around me, so many people wanna down me, but ain't no nigga never drown me. In front of a dirty double mirror, they found me, and I love myself. The world is a ghetto, because the dick is out. I love myself, but they can do what they want whenever they want. I don't mind. I love myself. He said I gotta get up, like I'm on the suicide. I love myself. One day it'll get out, sun go shine. Everybody looking at you crazy. What you gonna do? Lift up your head and keep moving. Or let the paranoia haunt you. Peace to fashion police, I wear my heart on my sleeve, let the runway start. You know the miserable do love company. What do you want from me and my scars? Everybody lack confident. Everybody lack confident. How many times my potential was anonymous? How many times the city making me promises? So I promise this. I love myself. The world is a ghetto because the dick is out. I love myself. But they can do what they want whenever they want. I don't mind. I love myself. He said I gotta get up like it's ready to suicide. I love myself. One day it'll get out, sun go shine. They wanna say it's a war outside, and a bomb in the street, and a gun in the hood, and a mob of police, and a rock on the corner, and a line full of fiend, and a bottle full of fiend, and a motto on the scene, yeah. These days of frustration keep y'all on tuck in rotation. I duck these cold faces, post up, feed 5-4 for faces. Dreams are reality's piece. Blow steam in the face of the beast. The sky can fall down, the wind can cry down. The strong in me, I still smile. I love myself. The world is a ghetto because the dick is out. I love myself. But they can do what they want whenever they want. I don't mind. I love myself. He said I gotta get up like it's ready to suicide. I love myself. One day it'll get out, sun go shine. Walk my bare feet, down, down, valley deep, down, valley deep. I love myself. 5-4 feet, 5-4. I love myself. It's just a journey into music and sound.
Hey people, this is Aramide.
What's up? My name is J1.
Yo, my name is K Switch. Senna. Credible right here.
Hey yo, this is LKT.
Hey footballer, yeah. Hi, my name is Daniela.
Hi, Abbas Akonde, the Paramount King of Music. Yeah, one of my people, they call me Q-Dog.
It is your favorite boy, Sean Teaser.
It's your boy, Seriki Omogo.
And yo, it's your boy Jide Crystal, and you're listening to Melody 100.7 FM. Don't touch that dial, it's absolute music on 100.
Don't go nowhere because I love you.
Let's go.
Just tune to Melody 100.7 FM. Still cool with Melody.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, your trouble will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, your troubles will be mine. Here we are as in olden days, happy olden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest so have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. So have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Alright, Sam Smith doing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and then we're back to it. 8:31 a.m. from the studios, and this is Melody 100.7 FM. You're still live on Melody Sunrise. It is time to talk sports. My name is Bolabad, and I have the sport Bam Bam in the studio. It's a beautiful morning to you, Bola.
Good morning, Bolabad.
How's it going?
Very fun. It's nice to be here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot to talk about in the ever exciting water sport. It's 2 days to the AFCON. Did you see Nigeria's outfit? So it was top. I mean, fantastic native, all grain.
Yeah.
You saw.
That was not Look, if I talk now, there's some cut out much. That's the only thing that we know how to do. Cause what?
So
They look good though.
yeah, it looked good. I mean, the likes of Victor Osimhen, they looked really nice in it, and a couple of other guys are right out there. But the news is Wilfred Onye Ididi. He has been appointed the captain of the side after the retirement of William Troost-Ekong. I'm not surprised. He was the vice captain, even where William Troost-Ekong goes there. So he has been appointed as the captain of the side, and Nigerians are expecting so much from the Super Eagles this time after they lost out at the World Cup qualifiers. Right there. A couple of other stories. Nigerian players abroad. One player doing so well is Christoph Uche. It was fantastic yesterday, but he wasn't called up to the camp of the Super Eagles. So he's one player to look out for. A lot of people are coming out to say, why is Christatus Uche not a part of the list? It's one of the things I would be talking about today, and a couple of other things in the ever exciting and ever scintillating water sport.
Okay, so that and more will be coming your way, yeah, between now and 9 a.m. We'll be back behind the microphone. But in the meantime, you're very much welcome, because I mean, it is time to talk sports.
Josie, Yobo, good goal. Odesi.
What a wonderful finish. That is the most embarrassing own goal. Oh, what a goal, but something out of nothing. He struck it sweetly, and does he ever score ordinary goal? They're all copybook stuff.
All right, it's another beautiful time again to talk sports right here on Melody 100.7 FM. On these segments on Melody Sunrise is where we serve you the best of sporting stories, making the rounds in the ever exciting and ever scintillating water sports. All right, it's a lot to talk about. I will be talking about table tennis stories, basketball stories, and also the AFCON. Yes, Nigeria's preparation to the AFCON right there. Other countries are doing so well. I saw the outfit of the likes of Senegal, Tunisia, and a couple of other countries right there. We'll talk about all of these today on the program. All right, I'm Akimbo Bola Igofemi. Welcome aboard. All right, starting with table tennis today, reigning national champion Muiz Adegoke will face a stern test as he defends his status against a former champion Matthew Kuti and defending champion Abdulbasit Abdulfatai when the third Daniel Ford Elite Youth Table Tennis Tournament serves off today at the Molade Okoya Thomas Hall Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. Adegoke has been in blistering form over the past month, winning the maiden Governor Dairy Top 16 Cup in Bayelsa and added another title at the Lagos tournament featuring some of Nigeria's finest players. However, his record at the Daniel Ford tournament has been mixed, finishing at the top 4 at the maiden edition in 2023, but failing to progress from the group stage in 2024. With his current momentum, he is determined to finally etch his name among the title holders of this prestigious youth competition. Earlier this year, Adegoke's deep in form cost him his place in the national team, but he now sees this tournament as a chance to reclaim his spot. To do so, he must overcome both Kuti and Abdul Fatai, his teammates on national squad. Kuti, once hailed as the next big star in Nigerian table tennis, has struggled recently. He was humbled 4-0 by Adegoke at the Bayelsa tournament and suffered another defeat at the Lagos club event. A crowd favorite in Lagos, Kuti must rediscover his spark if he hopes to reclaim the title he lost to Abdul Fatai in 2024. And talking about Abdul Fatai, a left-hander from Kwara, he has also endured a rough patch, bowing out early in several competitions to retain his national team place and defend his crowd. He will need to summon his best form when it matters the most. The under-19 category promises additional fireworks with Matthew Fabumi, current African Youth Games mixed team champion, and cadet prodigy Usman Ayola stepping up to challenge the heavyweight. In the girls under-19 division, defending champion Kabirat Ayola will lock arms with familiar rival, former champion Shukurat Ayelegban and Aisha Rabio and Isezo of Kogi right there. It's all the best to these young chaps as they face each other at the Table Tennis Championship. Leaving table tennis and straight to basketball, Nigeria's Junior D Tigers have recorded a significant rise in the latest FIBA World Ranking Girls, climbing 9 places to 26 and emerging as one of the biggest movers in the newly released standing published today. The update places Nigeria among the top climbers globally, ranking as the fourth biggest mover overall and the highest ranked nation to make such a leap to within the top 30. The Junior D Tigers now sit third in Africa with 469.5 points behind Mali, who was 16th, and Egypt, who climbed 4 places to 21st. At the summit, there was no change as the United States retained top spot with 707.3 points ahead of Spain and Canada. The Americans consolidated their lead following their another dominant showing at the FIBA Under-19 Women's Basketball Cup in Czechia, where they won a 4th consecutive title. Spain remained second after strong podium finishes across multiple youth tournaments, while Canada held on to third following a semi-final appearance at the Under-19 World Cup. Australia moved up 1 place to 4th after reaching the Under-19 final, while France slipped to 5th. Elsewhere, Slovenia, Italy, Serbia, and Poland all made notable gains inside the top 15 in a reshuffle driven largely by results at recent Youth Continental and World Championship. And Nigeria's rise comes on the back of their showing at the FIBA Under-19 Women's World Cup in Czechia, where Juliana Akere-led side finished 12th and securing a morale-boosting classification win over Argentina before falling narrowly to Korea in an 85-79 defeat, a game in which Captain Wandu Ebam led the scoring with 19 points. Right, leave it basketball and straight to boxing. Anthony Joshua faced Jake Paul in one of boxing's most decisive fights in Miami today, with a British Nigerian heavyweight vowing to end the YouTuber's run. Joshua, who is 36 years, returns to the ring for the first time since a 5th-round knockout loss to Daniel Dubois last September, while Jake Paul is having his 14th professional bout following a point win over former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez adjourned. At the final press conference on Wednesday, Paul predicted the biggest upset in history of sport and claimed it is more important for boxing than anyone in the last decades. Now, taking his quotes right there, taking his quote to right there, he said, at the final press conference on Wednesday, the odds are stacked against me. There's no sporting teams in history that have gone together where it is the biggest of difference in terms of skill, experience, resume, height, weight. So this is going to be the biggest upset in history of sport, and you guys get to witness it. All right, for Joshua, he outlined a sense of responsibility to beat Paul on behalf of boxing world in the 8th round heavyweight bout at the Kesaya Center, which will be streamed live on Netflix. Taking his coach right there, he said, with this one, it feels like I'm pulled into safe pursuit of boxing because people don't like that I'm fighting Jake. That was Joshua. He said, if we look at people that don't want me to be here, but want to put an end to Jake Paul's show, I understand it. That's why I carry boxing on my head with this fight. For Paul, he defended himself by proclaiming a greater influence on boxing than Joshua. He said, no one has done it more for the sport of boxing in the last decade than myself, Paul said. So if people cared about boxing, they would want me to win, but I see the angle they are coming in from, in the sense that he's been doing it all his life, but I think I am more important for sports and boxing in general. So if they cared about sports, they would want me to win right there. That's Jake Paul coming out to say that he has done more for boxing than all the top guys when it comes to boxing right there. Leaving boxing and straight to football, Nigerian football legend Segun Odegbami, he has said that he has stopped following the Super Eagles preparation for the 2025 African Cup of Nations, insisting that the team were not good enough at the failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, speaking in an interview, the former Green Eagles winger said Nigeria's exit from the World Cup playoffs has deeply affected him and many football-loving Nigerians dampening interest in the national team ahead of the continental tournament. Right there, he said, I'm not following the preparation for the AFCON since our exit from the World Cup qualifiers. The reality is that some of us give up because football is our business and qualifying for the World Cup is the peak of our business. He added that the team did not merit qualification for the World Cup, citing a lack of effort and quality in the team. Taking his quote on that one right there, he said, I don't think we truly deserved a place at the World Cup because we didn't work hard enough. We're not just good enough, so I'm not following what's happening at the AFCON. I'm not going to the AFCON, and that's reality. The 2025 AFCON will kick off on December 21. That's on Sunday, with the Super Eagles arriving at Fair on Thursday. That was yesterday, ahead of Group C's matches against Tanzania, Tunisia, and Uganda. Another former Super Eagles international, that's Mikel Obi, he has criticized Nigeria's preparation for the 2025 African Cup of Nations, launching a scathing attack on the Nigerian Football Federation over ongoing administrative issues. Now, speaking on his podcast, Mikel expressed disappointment with the build-up to the tournament, which kicks off on Sunday in Morocco, and questioned how a national coach could be owed salary at such a critical stage. He said, I'm not impressed at all with the preparation. After everything that happened with the World Cup qualifiers, you would expect things to be better, said Mikel, who has demanded the resignation of the NFF board following Nigeria's failure to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. He said, how do you owe a coach money at this stage? It's shameless. This is not how serious football teams operate. He said, when issues like this are in public spaces, it affects everyone, the coach, the players, and even the fans. This was supposed to be the time to save face and show the lessons were learned. Instead, it's the same story again. You can't go into the AFCON with unresolved problems. Everything must be sorted now. Nigerians deserve better. Our football deserves better. Super Eagles coach Eric Sekusha was reported to be owed 3 months' salary and bonuses by the NFF ahead of the tournament. However, National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko disclosed on Monday that the NSC has been paying Shell's salary on behalf of NFF despite not being party to its contract. The NSC have been paying the salaries of Eric Sekushel on behalf of the NFF, even though we are not a party to.
Game to start, enjoy, have fun, enjoy the game. Guys, this is Wilfred Ndidi. We just arrived in Morocco. The Super Eagles just arrived in Morocco, and we're ready. We can't really wait for the game to start. Enjoy, have fun, enjoy the game, because we're here to have fun too. Cheers.
All right, that was the voice of Wilfred Ndidi as he has been appointed captain of the Super Eagles ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Ndidi, who also wore the armband during the Nigeria's recent CAF 2026 World Cup qualifying playoffs in Morocco, steps into a leadership role following the international retirement of former captains William Troost-Ekong and Ahmed Musa. The 28-year-old defensive midfielder missed the rescheduled 2023 AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire due to injury. However, he remains one of Nigeria's most seasoned players, having earned 71 international caps since making his senior debut in August 2015. A product of Nigeria's youth teams, Ndidi represented the country at the under-17 and under-20 levels before becoming a regular fixture in the Super Eagles setup. His experience, discipline, and leadership qualities are expected to play a key role in Nigeria's targets a strong campaign at the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. All right, leaving the Super Eagles and straight to Nigerian players abroad, Celtic have been criticized for treatment of Kelechi Iheanacho after the Nigerian striker suffered a second hamstring injury since joining the Scottish club in August. Iheanacho lasted just 30 minutes during Celtic's League Cup final defeat to St. Mirren on Sunday before pulling his hamstring, having been Celtic's best performer before the injury. Football pundits Peter Martin and Tom McMoss described the former Leicester City striker as a panic buy and accused Celtic of battering him with fitness work despite his lack of match sharpness after leaving Sevilla. Taking the quote of one of the pundits, he said Iheanacho does have a good movement, can hold the ball, can bring people in, can create chances and get on the end of them as well. But he isn't fit. It's a panic buy. He has pulled his hamstring twice. He was out of the game and they had to bring on Johnny Kenny. The game was up. That's down to Celtic waiting in August and then bringing in a player who wasn't up to match fitness. Magnus, he added that what they have done is he wasn't playing for Celtic, for Sevilla. They got him in the last minute. They have panicked. They have got him in, battered him in 2 weeks before starting to play. Fitness-wise, to get him up to speed right there. That's the pundit coming out to say that Celtic didn't do well in terms of the fitness of Kelechi Iheanacho. Maybe they shouldn't have rushed him. They should have taken time, maybe bringing him in the second half. Talking about maybe 50, 60, 70 minutes. They shouldn't have rushed him because he didn't play so many games for Sevilla right there. All right, leaving Kelechi Iheanacho and straight to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace head coach Olivier Glasner has hailed Christantos Uche for his impressive performance in the club's UEFA Europa Conference League clash with Finnish club Kups. Uche scored a stunning goal in a keenly contested encounter. The Nigerian international gave his side the lead in the 50th minute with a superb effort from outside the box. It was the midfielder's first goal at the Selhurst Park and he has now scored in back-to-back Conference League games. The two all draw in Palace, a place in the playoffs in February. And for Glasner, he saluted Uche for his fantastic effort. He said, I was pleased with his performance, especially of the youngsters. Of course, the fantastic goal from Uche, and then we could see a little bit of structure for the 10 to 15 minutes, and you get 3 finishes at the end and score 2 goals. That was Glasner coming out to praise Christatos Uche for his performance against Finnish club Corps right there. I mean, questions have been flying left, right, and center. Why not Christatos Uche? Why is he not in the Super Eagles camp right now? People expect that he should be participating at the AFCON, but it is what it is. I mean, the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Eric Sekusha, knows better. He knows why he brought in some other players, the likes of Akisomiru, ahead of Christatos Uche, rather. But for him, he's having a fantastic season, although not a starter right now for the club, because there's Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is the starting 9 for them. But I hope one day or someday Christatos Uche makes the starting lineup for them consistently at Crystal Palace right there. All right, former Super Eagles forward Daniel Amokachi has called on key figures in Nigerian football to prioritize the upgrade of infrastructure, particularly playing pitches across the country's leagues. Amokachi made the remarks in Abuja on Tuesday at the Nigerian National League Pro Star and Spotlight Hub Awards for November, which were organized to recognize outstanding performances by players, coaches, and other participants in the NNL. He warned that many of those pitches approved for league matches require urgent improvement to meet standards. So according to the former international, the NNL is the foundation of Nigerian football and must provide a safe and professional environment for young players to develop their skills. He commended the awards initiative, noting that recognizing excellence had always served as a motivation for players and teams and aligned with global best practices in sport development. Amokachi also acknowledged some improvements in the league, including an increase in away wins, a higher number of goals, and improved prize money, but stressed that more is needed to be done to make the competition more attractive. He noted that sustained growth of the league depends largely on funding and sponsorship to ensure steady development. Amokachi also highlighted the role of media in shaping the league's image, saying that the balanced and consistent reporting could attract credible sponsors. He lamented the absence of NNL players in the Super Eagles despite the abundance of talents in domestic football, and said inadequate promotion limits players' exposure and recognition both locally and internationally. He called for collective efforts to attract sponsors, noting that increased support would ease financial challenges and strengthen the league. He also stressed the need for punctuality and strict adherence to match schedules, saying discipline and effective time management will significantly improve the league's organization. I mean, we've been talking about this for a very long time, and later today, yes, on the Cruise Show, we'll talk extensively on this issue, the pitch of Nigeria. I think we only have 2 very good pitches in Nigeria, the one at the Oyo Stadium, and for me, it's not even top. I mean, you see, the boys even struggle to play on it. But later today, on the Cruise Show, we'll talk about all of these extensively on the sports segment on the Cruise Show. All right, until later today, when I come your way again, I'm Akimbo Bola Egofemi. Good morning.
All right, it is 8:58 from the studios this beautiful morning. This is still Melody Sunrise on Melody 100.7 FM. That was Sport Bamba doing, telling you everything you need to know about sports and, things you need to get to know and keeping you updated. All right, so we'll be heading straight into the People's Assembly in a bit. Yeah, by 9 a.m. we'll go straight into the People's Assembly, but I have to hint you on what we'll be talking about. Like I said earlier, just in case you didn't quite catch, that conversation, a line of thought. I was talking about how, we might look at, what is going on with, what's it called now, Dangote and the now former, CEO of NMDPRA, who has resigned just 2 days ago. And also, most importantly, we'll be looking at tax reforms. A lot is going on in this country called Nigeria. And we're looking at it and talking about it in a bit. And I hope and would love that you contribute and drop your 2 cents once we enter the People's Assembly, okay? But in the meantime, this one is Funky Akindele, teaming up with Files and the cast of Everyone Loves Jennifer, doing Everyone Loves Christmas.
But remember, yes, remember, just remember, love's the bottom line at Christmas
Christmas is the best season to chop rice and to chop chicken. All of my guys get the dough with the tie God. All my girls gonna show with the fine clothes.
And you know, love is available. This special miracle is nothing without love. Let it show everywhere you go. Tell everyone you know. The reason for the season is your loving and your giving. Christmas always brings us together from every December.
lucky. Just got back from Germany. Yeah. And everybody will come my party. Start to shake for me, start to spray money. Did you want let make a know you day for me? Whether you day Miami, happy you day Bali. Sorry for the person when no one
Love is available. This special miracle is nothing without love. Let it show. Show everywhere you go. Tell everyone you know. The reason for the season is your loving and your giving. So let's love each other and party like never before.
All right, it is, in the air, of course, it is infectious and it is Christmas. Okay, now it is 4 minutes past 9 a.m. from the studios of Melody 100.7 FM. This is Melody Sunrise and my name is Bolabad. And we are now live inside of the People's Assembly and we are about to get talking serious matters and all of that. All right, so if you're listening for the first time and you're wondering what People's Assembly is, first off, it is like a parliament setting and it's a segment on Melody Sunrise that airs every weekday between 9 a.m. and 9:40, where we get to talk about serious issues. We talk about societal issues. We talk about things going on in our state, in the country, and all of that in between. Okay, so just like a parliament, every parliament has a Speaker of the House, which I'll be serving as today, and you, on the other hand, will be serving as the Honorable of the House this beautiful morning. So what I do is bring a particular topic to the floor and we talk about it, and then I open the studio lines, aka the floor, for you to drop your 2 cents concerning the said conversation, okay, or conversations. Today we'll be having like 1.5 conversations, right? Because on Wednesday we began the discussion or the back and forth that was going on between Dangote and the NMDPRA CEO in person of Ahmed Farouk, and he resigned, a day ago after meeting with the president, and that is not the latest. The latest is, the president is actually nominated or named, the replacement. Now, the newly appointed chief executive officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that is the NMDPRA, Saidu Mohammed, has assured that the agency under his leadership will prioritize the protection of investments in local refineries. Now, Mr. Mohammed gave the assurance yesterday while appearing before the Senate committees on petroleum upstream and petroleum downstream and gas for screening. And a lot of people are saying that you better talk the talk and walk the walk. You don't have to just come here and start telling us what we need to hear. Basically, that is it. All right, so that is like the update. While a lot of people are still calling for the arrest or the prosecution of Ahmed Farouk, I mean, a lot of people are saying, is it not okay that he resigned? But that is it, by the way. So first conversation will be, is it just okay that these people resign when they get caught in the act, or do they need to be prosecuted as well? That is the first line of thought, or the first line of conversation, or first question I'll be asking. So something happened, I think 2 days ago in the House of Reps, and this has actually caused a lot of stir in the country. Just in case you didn't quite catch the story, all right, let me give you a background. The background is that, come 2026, why am I saying 2024, Jesus? Come 2026, yes, there's going to be a new tax reform law that a lot of people have actually been talking about and being scared of. I mean, you have to start attaching, that description that they tell you when you want to make online transaction, and they tell you what's the money for. You have to take it seriously once this tax reform gets passed, because if you do not, they'll just tax the person that you send money to anyhow. That's just the point, because they are trying to involve the banks. They're taxing personal income, taxing quite a number of other things and all of that, and you have to get your TIN, that is tax identification number. Also, that is just by the way. I know a lot of banks are actually doing it for the customers. You just have to, go to the bank or just. There was a time a particular bank was sending me a message of how to register for my TIN using what's it called now, their mobile app. So you can just make inquiries because you might need it. You are going to need it. It's not you will need it next year. Okay, so you might want to look into that one. Now, the reforms are also expected to interact with broader fiscal consolidation measures, including subsidy removals and public finance reforms. So with implementation less than 2 weeks away, because it's going to be implemented in January, it is said, or should I say scheduled to be implemented in January. Now, the easy intervention introduces a new, fresh uncertainty around the legal integrity of the tax laws and raises questions about whether the gazetted versions accurately reflect the legislative tenets. Now, just in case you didn't quite catch it, a particular Honorable Abdul Samad 2 days ago during plenary actually stood up and raised a particular concern. What he said is that what they passed on the floor of the House of Reps and what has been gazetted and is before Nigerians as released by the Ministry of Information are two different things. You think I'm joking? Take a listen.
Referring the matter to the Committee of Ethics and Privileges. Still, if the matter is raised in the Committee of the Whole, the chairman shall leave the chair on the order to report progress. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm here today because my privilege has been breached as a member of this all-important House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we passed the tax laws on this floor, and Mr. Speaker, I took my time in the last 3 days to look at the gazetted past copy, the vote and proceedings of the House of Representatives, and also went an extra mile to look at the vote and proceedings of the Senate of what was harmonized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what I passed on this floor is not what is gazetted. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have all the copies, but I'm coming under privilege because I was here, I gave my vote, and it was counted, and I'm seeing something completely different. So on that note, on this privilege, I will call on Mr. Speaker to graciously look at what was harmonized, what is in the gazetted copy, what was passed in the House and the Senate. You will find out what is before Nigerians, which is being sold to Nigerians at the Ministry of Information, which I personally went to buy the gazetted copies, are not what was passed. So there is no motion here, but Mr. Speaker, I'll be pleading that all the documents should be brought before the Committee of the Whole. The whole members should see what is in the gazetted, should see what they passed on the floor, so that we can make the relevant amendment. Mr. Speaker, this is the breach of the Constitution, this is the breach of our laws, and this should not be taken by this honorable House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Abdul-Samad. Your observation is noted and action will be taken.
That was the voice of Honorable Abdul Samad Dasuki, PDP representing Sokoto, and he raised concerns over alleged discrepancies between the newly gazetted tax reform laws and the version passed by the National Assembly. Dazuki actually raised the issue under a matter of privilege on the floor of the House on Wednesday, and according to him, the review that he made himself of the gazetted copies of the tax laws reviewed material differences from what was debated, harmonized, and approved by the House of Representatives and also the Senate. This comes barely 2 weeks before January 2026, when the implementation of this new tax laws is expected to commence. Like I said earlier, just in case you didn't hear what he said, I'm just going to paraphrase, okay? So according to Dasuki, he actually compared the vote and proceedings of the House, the Senate's record, and the harmonized versions with the gazetted copies currently in circulation. In his words, he said, I took my time in the last 3 days to look at the gazetted past copy and the vote and proceedings of the House of Representatives, and also went an extra mile to look at the vote and proceedings of the Senate of what was harmonized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what I passed on this floor is not what is gazetted. The lawmaker then said his concern was not being raised through a formal motion, but a constitutional issue requiring urgent legislative scrutiny. He called on the Speaker to ensure that all relevant documents, including the harmonized bills, the versions passed by both chambers, and the gazetted laws are laid before the Committee of the Whole. Now, the lawmaker, however, did not mention any specific changes made to the laws before it was gazetted. Now, the call for the review and possible amendment, he urged the House to examine the documents collectively to identify the discrepancies and take corrective action where necessary. In his words, he said, "This is a breach of the Constitution, this is a breach of our laws, and this should not be taken by this honorable House." He said, warning that allowing such situation to stand could undermine legislative authority and due process. Now, in response, the Speaker acknowledged the observation and assured the House that the matter would be addressed. Now, can the House actually recall the tax reform laws? Under Section 64, subsection 1, the tax authority shall have the power to investigate or cause an investigation to be conducted to ascertain any violation of any tax law, whether or not such violation has been reported to the relevant tax authority. That is Nigeria Tax Administration Bill 2025, as passed by the House of Representatives. So you see, they can literally just call it back. So the tax authority shall have the power to investigate or cause an investigation to be conducted to ascertain any violation of any tax law, right? And this one is according to the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, just this year. Now, the four acts that jointly make up the Nigeria's tax reform framework are the National Revenue Service Establishment Act, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Act, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, and the Nigerian Tax Act. So they were passed by both chambers of the National Assembly in March, with votes and proceedings produced in May, while President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assented to them in June, and the laws were gazetted in June, June this year, June 26th, this very year. And according to soft copies of the official gazette cited by newsmen. Now, during the House of Reps plenary on Wednesday, Abdulsamad Dazuki, PDP secretary, raised a matter of privilege, alleging discrepancies between the tax laws passed by the National Assembly and the version gazetted and made available to the public. Now, rising under Order 6, Rule 2 of the House Rules, Dazuki said his legislative privilege has been breached, insisting that the content of the gazetted tax laws did not reflect what the members debated, voted, and passed. He then said, after spending 3 days to carefully review the gazetted copies alongside the vote and the proceedings of the houses, as well as the harmonized version adopted by both chambers, he observed discrepancies. Now, he's saying that this is a breach of trust, a breach of constitution, this is a breach of our law, it should not be taken lightly by the Honorable House. So over to you, my beloved Honorable, this morning. What do you make of this? A sitting Honorable of the House of Representatives is calling out the tax laws that has been passed by the President, saying that this was not what we passed. This is not what we agreed on. So this has actually created a lot of fear in Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians that have been having, how would I say, second thoughts about the tax reform bill or tax reform laws that it says to commence next month, that is January 2026, have been coming out to say, see, you people, let us listen to this man now and look at it again. In fact, the National Opposition Party is actually called for the recall of the tax reform law. You think I'm joking? Take a listen.
Opposition movement demands 1. The immediate suspension of tax plans take-off dates. 2. National consultation involving labor, civil society, SMEs, professionals, and state governments. 3. Explicit social protection guarantees tied to any tax reform. 4. A focus on taxing luxury, excess profits, monopolies, and corruption, not poverty. Strong legal safeguards to protect taxpayers' rights. Nigeria does not suffer from low taxation. Nigeria suffers from wastes, corruption, mismanagement, and policy arrogance. We do not fix corporate failure by paying victims. We stand with Nigerian workers, traders, professionals, and small businesses. We will resist any policy that punishes the poor to excuse leadership failures. If this tax plan is forced through without suspension and consultations, the government will be fully responsible for the social and economic consequences. This is not a threat. It is a warning grounded in reality. Nigeria is hurting, and the suffering Nigerians have limits. Let us warn President Tinubu.
All right, there you have it. The national opposition movement is actually said called for the suspension of the new tax reform issue and issued demands over the Tinubu administration's tax plan, citing widespread economic hardship, among other things. The studio line is very much open. The floor is yours. What do you make of this whole situation? An honorable in the House of Reps is saying that what we passed and what we voted for is not what the Ministry of Information has given out, and will work on taxing people moving on next year. And he is calling that the House should actually review it again, what they passed, as opposed to what is out there, what has been gazetted. What do you make of the situation, and what do you make of the national opposition movement coming out to say that, you know what, recall this tax law now, Nigeria is bleeding, don't tax people more, things are really expensive and people are just trying to get by. 07055071007 or 07025201007, 07055071007 or 07025201007. Those are the numbers to call me up on or to send messages on. Let me know what your take is this morning. You can also head to Facebook and drop your comments on Facebook at Melody 100.7 FM on Facebook. That is Melody 100.7 FM on Facebook. 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007 or 07025 007. A sitting honorable is saying that, you know, what we agreed on and what we passed is not the same thing as what is in public domain right now. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Ade Damola Okunlola says good morning to you. Good morning to you too. And there's Sharif Gumbiade saying good morning on Facebook. A beautiful morning to you as well. What do you make of this entire situation? Honorable Abdul Samad, representing Secretary PDP, saying that what is on the, in public space as provided by the Ministry of Information concerning the tax reform laws is different from what was passed on the floor in the House of Rep and also at the Senate. What do you make of this whole situation? 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Call me up or send messages. Let me know what your take is this morning. All right, so the first message, okay, I'm getting this one. Okay, now I have two messages. Please do put a call through, and do not forget that once you text or once you call, you add honorable to your name. Your name is honorable and your location is your constituency. Okay, so far you're texting or you're calling, please do the needful and add these to your names. Okay, 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. We're talking about the tax reform laws and how an Honorable Abdul Samad, representing Sokoto under the party PDP, is calling for, a double checking of the gazetted version of the tax reform laws, as it is not the same thing that was passed in the House. Okay, 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007. Those are the numbers to either call me upon or to send messages to me on 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007. All right, so back to my messages. This one is from Yenka. Okay, it says, first, it was the Kebbi State Governor who raised a very important question that has not been answered to date. Then Dangote accused the public office holder of $5 billion fraud, and nothing has been done yet. Today, a member of the House of Rep has raised another important issue. Fingers crossed on whether anything will be done. Thank you so much, Yenka, for that message. 07055 071 007, 07025 201 007. Call me up or send messages. If you're just tuning in, this is Melody Sunrise on Melody 100.7 FM, and my name is Bolabad. We are inside of the People's Assembly, a segment on the show, and we are discussing the fact that an honorable of the House of Reps called out, the Ministry of Information called out the tax reform laws that was gazetted and said it was not the same thing that was passed in the House and harmonized also with the one that was passed in the Senate. Is calling for, a thorough checking before the implementation in January. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007. What do you think about this whole situation? And also with the fact that a lot of people are calling for the arrest and prosecution of the former NMDPRA boss that Dangote accused of siphoning money to actually sponsor the secondary school education of his children in Switzerland. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. All right, so this one is from Sheyi. All right, it says this is outright forgery and a blatant assault on our democracy. How can the executive tamper with laws passed by the people's representatives? The president must answer for this constitutional breach. Okay, 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007. This one has no name. Says until Nigerians have nothing to live on, then they will realize how sloppy they have been all these while watching corruption thrive and crimes flourish. 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007, 07025 201 007. In fact, Nigerians have actually called for the immediate arrest of tax reform chairman Taiwo Oyedele over alleged fake tax law not approved by the NAS. And this is actually beginning ground on social media since yesterday. Someone actually says we were able to hear that because Akpabio was not around. If not, he would have shut him down or silenced the issue without any review on it. The man did this country so much bad, just like Buhari. We will talk about the president after we have left his table. Okay, 07055 071 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007, or 07025 201 007. Call me up, send messages, let me know what your take is this morning. Just in case you didn't quite catch it earlier, I'll play the audio clip again of an honorable of the House of Reps saying what they passed concerning the tax reform laws and what is out there are two different things. Take a listen.
Or referring the matter to the Committee of Ethics and Privileges. Still, if the matter is raised in the Committee of the Whole, the chairman shall leave the chair on the order to report progress. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm here today because my privilege has been breached as a member of this all-important House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we passed the tax laws on this floor, and Mr. Speaker, I took my time in the last 3 days to look at the gazetted past copy, the vote and proceedings of the House of Representatives, and also went an extra mile to look at the vote and proceedings of the Senate of what was harmonized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what I passed on this floor is not what is gazetted. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have all the copies, but I'm coming under privilege because I was here, I gave my vote, and it was counted, and I'm seeing something completely different. So on that note, on this privilege, I will call on Mr. Speaker to graciously look at what was harmonized, what is in the gazetted copy, what was passed in the House and the Senate. You will find out what is before Nigerians, which is being sold to Nigerians at the Ministry of Information, which I personally went to buy the gazetted copies, are not what was passed. So there is no motion here, but Mr. Speaker, I'll be pleading that all the documents should be brought before the Committee of the Whole. The whole members should see what is in the gazetted, should see what they passed on the floor, so that we can make the relevant amendment. Mr. Speaker, this is a breach of the Constitution, this is a breach of our laws, and this should not be taken by this honorable House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Abdul Samad.
All right, 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Those are the numbers to either call me up on or to send messages to me on. Let me know what your take is this morning concerning this situation at hand. Call me up or send messages 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Honorable Abdul Samad is representing Secretary from the PDP is saying that what was passed on the floor is different from what was gazetted. Okay, 07055 071 007. All right, this one says okay, on air personalities should stop misleading the public. The low income earners will no longer pay tax under the new arrangement, and let the House member point out the areas that was altered. No one said anything about low income earners not paying tax or paying tax. What the conversation is centered around is the fact that an honorable of the House said it was altered. What was passed was altered. No one is talking about the full, or should I say, who will benefit from this or who will not benefit from this. But the fact that something was passed by the representatives of the people and what was gazetted was altered is the point of conversation here. You didn't add your name. I would have addressed you by your name, but you didn't add your name. Nobody is saying this person will benefit or this person would not benefit. What we're talking about is something was passed in the House and harmonized also by the Senate, and what is made public by the Ministry of Information is different from what was passed, which is a breach of Constitution. Either anyone is benefiting from it or not. The single act, the fact that the gazetted copy and what was passed on the floor are two different things, is the line of conversation here. I hope you do get that, sir or ma, whoever sent that message. All right, now moving on from that, there is Adidamola Okunlola on Facebook saying, what exactly has this administration done for Nigerians that they want to impose tax on us? It is more of trying to reap where they did not. So since this administration came into power, it's been one level of hardship to the other. This administration keeps adding salt to injury of the masses. Thank you. And she also said, "Beautiful morning to you in the studio. As concerning the resignation of the NMDPRA and NUPRC bosses after Dangote's petition, proper investigation needs to be carried out on them. This shouldn't be swept under the carpet as usual. They should be accountable." Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Dedamola Okunlola. You can also head to Facebook and drop your comment rather on Facebook. 07055 071 007 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. 5 more minutes and then we'll wrap up this conversation this morning. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. We're looking at two different conversations this morning. The NMDPRA boss or CEO, that is Ahmed Farouk, that was actually how would I say now? Should I say, that was called out by Dangote, that is Aliko Dangote, for spending $5 million in the tuition of his secondary school student children. And also the fact that the NMDPRA boss resigned, and also a lot of people still calling for his prosecution and his arrest. What do you make of that part of conversation? And the second conversation is the fact that an honorable of the House of Representatives came out to say that what has been gazetted in terms of the tax reform laws is different from what was passed by the House and the Senate. Hello, a beautiful morning to you, Honorable. Hello, Honorable. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Oh my goodness. The reception is really bad. Can you hear me? Okay, please try and call me back. 07055 071 007 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007 07025 201 007 or 07055 071 007. Call me up or send messages. Let me know what your take is this morning. We're looking at two different conversations. The NMDPRA CEO, Ahmed Farouk, that has resigned. Do you think he should still be prosecuted? And also the fact that an honorable of the House, Honorable Abdul Samad, representing Sokoto under PDP, is saying that the tax reform laws that was passed and harmonized by the House of Reps and the NAS, that is the Senate, is different from what has been gazetted. What do you think of this entire situation? 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Honorable. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my god, the reception is terrible. So please, if you can do me a favor and try calling me on the other line. Okay, so if you're trying a particular line, please try calling me on the other line. Two lines, 07025 201 007 or 07055 071 007 07025 201 007 or 07055 071 007. So if one is actually making you not hear me properly, please try the second line. I really want to hear your takes this morning. 07025 201 007 or 07055 071 007 07055 071 007. People are calling for the immediate arrest of tax reform chairman Taiwo Oyedele over the alleged tax reform laws not being approved by the NAS. And, a lot of people are saying a lot of things concerning these two said, topics that we have at hand today. 07055 071 007 or 07025201007. You can also head to Facebook, drop your comments on Facebook. Let me know what your takes are this morning concerning the two different conversations that we're having this morning. 07055071007 or 07025201007. If you're just tuning in, we have about 3 more minutes on the clock to have this conversation, and we are looking at the situation around the tax reform laws that Honorable Abdusamad, representing Secretary in the House, is saying that it is not the same thing that we passed on the floor of this House that is being gazetted, and he has called the Honorable Speaker of the House to revisit and check out and also, cross-check what has been gazetted and what was harmonized by the House of Reps and the Senate of this administration, and also to see if there is any discrepancies, because this tax reform laws will be passed come next month. 07055 071 007 or 07025201007. We're also looking at the conversation around the NMDPRA boss that has actually resigned, but there were corruption allegations levied against him. People are calling for his prosecution and arrest, but do you think he should still be prosecuted even though he resigned? A lot of people are saying he has resigned, so let him go. Some are saying even after resignation, he should be prosecuted, because that would actually just make a lot of people feel like, oh, once I resign, I don't have to face any allegation anymore. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Call me up or send a messages and let me know what your take is this morning concerning either or maybe just the two of the said conversation at hand. 07055 071 007. This one is from Ogale Alfred. I think this is the last one I'll be taking for today. Said in countries where tax works, citizens can point to free, affordable healthcare, reliable electricity, functional public transport, job creation industries. In Nigeria, there is no visible social contract. Paying tax feels like giving money away with no return. 07055 071 007 07055 071 007. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, Honorable. Oh my God. Hello. Oh God. Oh God. Hello. Hello, good morning, Honorable. Hello. Okay, so it is a sad one. I'm getting calls, but the two lines are actually acting up this morning for reasons best known to I don't know. Okay, and I have to wrap up the conversation for today, but I have to say a big thank you to those that sent messages. A big thank you to you if you dropped comments on Facebook. To those that tried to call in but couldn't get in, a big thank you. A big thank you to you. Okay, so the beauty of People's Assembly is the fact that we don't necessarily have to agree. Okay, you can have your opinion and other people can have their opinion. I do not have any opinion. Mine is to bring the conversation to the forefront and allow for you, the listener, in this case, my honorables, to determine or state your own opinion concerning the conversation at hand. And till next week Monday, when another fresh conversation will be eating your airwaves on the People's Assembly. Next week Monday, God keep us. Melody Sunrise will be back, okay, between 8 a.m. and 9:55. And Melody, that is People's Assembly and Melody, would actually be here on Monday by 9 a.m. as well. I'll be heading back to the music, and by 9:45 we'll go straight into Melody Surprise, where I get to celebrate someone for you. So now is the time to send me a message. If you have someone celebrating their birthdays, wedding anniversary, promotion at work, or you just want to send greetings to someone, by all means send me a message. All you have to do is to text me their names, the phone number, what you want to tell them, and also tell them, send your name attached to that same message. Okay, so I can tell them you sent me. 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007, 07055 071 007 or 07025 201 007. Those are the numbers. Text message only, please. Text message only. All right, so this one is A7S, David Guetta, Wizkid, Lighter.
I love this station, Melody 100.7 FM.
If you ask me waiting, I define. I'm still looking for my peace of mind. You don't know waiting, I don't survive. So they tell me how to live my life. To leave me, and leave me more. And set me up, but I stand strong. Tell your neighbor, I say long for. Money can drop. Check out my love.
Fireboy DML Fields and LAX on that one, with the title of the song being On a Cantro, 9:53 a.m. from the studios. This has been Melody Sunrise and Melody 100.7 FM, and my name is Bolabad. It's time for me to wrap it up and call it a day and a week. Yes, it is the weekend, and so many events are bubbling in the city. The city is bubbling. The city has been bubbling since December 1st, actually. So a lot of events to look forward to. Today, the weekend and everything. But hey, I know you want to party. I know it's December. You want to turn up with your friends that just go back from outside the country. But hey, make sure that you drive safe. Don't drink and drive. If you're going to drink anything and drive, make sure it's water, okay? Do not drink and drive. I'll say it again. Drink water. Mind your business, okay? And you'll be fine. You actually be fine. Stay safe out there, though. Stay hydrated as well. And drink water. Till next week, Monday, when Melody Sunrise returns to the airwaves. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Or Roy Lou comes up by 10 a.m. And this one is Two Factor, Young John, Ashake, and Focalistic. Bye.